Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the New York City Council hearing on the Subcommittee on Landmarks, Public Sightings, and Dispositions. At this time, please silence all electronics and do not approach the dais. If you have any questions or concerns or are testifying, please contact a sergeant at arms. Chair, you may begin.
Good morning and welcome to the meeting of the Subcommittee on Landmarks, Public Sightings, and Dispositions. I am Councilmember Camila Hanks and I'm the chair of the subcommittee. Today I'm joined by my colleague, Councilmember Salam. Today we'll be holding one hearing followed by votes on four. Okay. Apologies. Today we'll be holding one hearing. But before we begin with today's agenda, I will remind everyone that this meeting is being held in a hybrid format. For members of the public who wish to testify remotely, we ask that you first register online and that you may do so now by visiting www.council.nyc.gov/land use to sign up and to sign into the Zoom and remain signed in until you have testified. For anyone with us today in person wishing to testify, if you have not already done so, please see one of our sergeants to fill out a speaker's card. We will call your name at the appropriate time. For anyone wishing to submit a written testimony on the items being heard today, we ask that you please send it via email at landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. Include the land use number and the project name on the subject line. Video and audio testimony will not be accepted. I want to remind the members of the public that this is a government proceeding and that decorum will be observed at all times. As such, members of the public shall remain silent unless and until called to testify. The witness table is reserved for people who wish to testify. No video recording or photography is allowed from the witness table. Further, members of the public may not present audio or video recordings as testimony, but may submit transcripts of such recordings to the sergeant for inclusion in the hearing. So today, I'm going to open the public hearing for land use item 313 through 316 for Carmen Villegas, thank you, apartments, an application by New York City Housing Preservation and Development, Zayan Project, and Urban Builders Collaborative for a zoning map amendment, zoning text amendment for an acquisition development site by the city, and a designation of an urban development action area and an urban development action area project and disposition of city-owned property to facilitate the development of affordable housing and community facility space in Councilmember Ayala's district in Manhattan. Appearing today on this proposal is James Chisenkov, Senior Manhattan Planner at HPD, Matthew Gross, Managing Partner at Urban Builder Collaborative Latier, and Fernando Alvarez, Associate Principal Technical Director at Magnuson Architect and Planning. Again, those wishing to testify must register online by visiting the council's website at council.nyc/land use. Panelists, when your microphone is on, is when the red light is showing. Council, would you please administer the affirmation?
Panelists, would you please raise your right hand and state your name for the record?
Fernando Alvarez.
James Chikov.
Matthew Gross.
And do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this subcommittee and in answer to all council member questions?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Yes, I do.
Thank you so much, applicant panelists. Again, for the viewing public, if you need an accessible version of this presentation, please send an email request to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. The applicant panel may now begin.
All right, thank you so much. Good morning, council members, and thank you for having us here today. My name is James Chikov, and I'm the Senior Manhattan Planner in HPD's Division of Planning and Pre-Development, joined by representatives of the development team, Fernando Alvarez from Magnuson Architecture and Planning, and Matthew Gross from the Urban Builders Collaborative. We're excited to be here for ULURP, for this milestone in ULURP, to present the Carmen Villegas Apartments Senior Housing Project, named after the late East Harlem community advocate. So you can go to the next slide, please. So beginning with a bit of land use background, the development site will be located on the underutilized parking lot of the privately owned Casita Park at Block 1638, part of Lot 1. Casita Park HDFC is currently owned by Ascendant Neighborhood Development. And the applicant team for this ULURP comprises of HPD, Ascendant Neighborhood Development, Asylum Projects, and the Urban Builders Collaborative, who are our development partners here. The Application was certified on Monday, February 3rd, 2025, and the proposed project will be a new 28-story residential building with approximately 210 affordable senior housing units to be developed under HPD's SARA program. You can advance the slide, please. So here's a quick aerial view for more context. The development site is highlighted in red on part of Lot 1, and it'll be using development rights from the entire zoning lot highlighted in blue to achieve its height and floor area. The proposed project will be located on the corner of Park Avenue and East 110th, just north of the NYCHA Clinton houses. Next slide, please. And to facilitate the proposed development, the applicant team proposes the following land use actions. HPD proposes the acquisition of previously city-owned property by the city on Block 1638, part of Lot 1, which is the development site that I highlighted, and subsequent disposition. Lot 1 was previously conveyed to Ascendant Neighborhood Development through a UDAP in 2000 for the development of a 6-story residential building known as Casita Park, as well as the parking lot. But the site requires new approvals to allow for the redevelopment of the parking lot. The acquisition and disposition will occur simultaneously in conjunction with the project's closing. Ascendant, Xylem Projects, and Urban Builders Collaborative propose to rezone the area that is highlighted in the dotted black line to an R91 district and a zoning text amendment to map an MIH area. And so now I'll turn it over to our development partners to speak in more detail about the project.
Thank you, James. Next slide, please. All right, so my name is Matthew Gross, partner at Urban Builders Collaborative. With Nick and Gerard Latier. Latier Construction's been based on 110th Street for actually 45 years up in East Harlem, and just an honor and privilege to be part of such a great project with a longstanding nonprofit in our community in East Harlem, Ascendant Neighborhood Development Corporation, and a certified MWBE Harlem-based emerging developer, Nena Lynch. We just a Harlem-based team, and we're just really proud that we can recognize Carmen Villegas, such an impactful force in East Harlem, was a really active member of Community Board 11, and we really tried to include everything we could in this project that would embody her lasting impact. So next slide. As James said, we have a 28-story 210 senior building. This is poured in place. We have a setback at the 6th floor, some really great outdoor space there. On the ground floor, we have Salsa Way, which will lead to the open courtyard that will share with Casita Park, the existing senior building on the corner of 111th and Park, Fernando, our architect from Magnuson, will talk to us about some of these other sustainability features that we've included to really go above and beyond and again embody that that impact that Carmen had in East Harlem. Next slide. You have the site plan up here. Really just want to highlight the actual footprint that you can see on the bottom here. We have the 3 entrances. We have a community facility space for SAGE, one of the largest LGBTQ organizations and support organizations in the country, but very active in New York City. They have a location over in Central Harlem. They're going to be relocating here. We're really excited. So you can see their entrance there on closer to Park on 110th. Then you can see the separate residential entrance, which will have 24-hour security, and then Salsa Way, which will be an open path, an open corridor there right into Casita Park. And as you can see on the north side, we've identified the entrance to the existing Casita Park. That's their main entrance, but they will be able to continue to access through Salsa Way into that shared courtyard. Next slide. Highlighting the unit mix here, with our council member, we've been working to increase the number of 1-bedrooms and we were successful in doing that. And so that we could get the split between studios at 75% and the one bedrooms up to 25%. I know we've been working with HPD to try to increase the program in general for Sarah to have more family units, so fine balance. But I'm happy that I believe that we've reached a really good point, and just highlighting the set aside for the formerly homeless, and that will be age restricted down to 55 years of age. It allows them to identify a bigger pool of people. The other 70%, which will go through the lottery, will be 62 years of age and up. Next slide. And here, just to highlight, we've been awarded project-based vouchers from NYCHA for all 210 apartments, and seniors will only pay 30% of whatever that income is. That income could be 0 to up to 50% of the area median income, and so they will pay whatever portion that is. Next slide. Again, highlighting the ground floor and the second floor will have approximately 8,000 square foot community facility space for SAGE, which targets LGBTQ plus population, and that will be operated separately, separate entrance. They will be a tenant in the building in that community facility space. We're really excited. They have such a host of comprehensive services, which are listed here, and just really leveraging all of the partnerships they already have in Harlem, union settlement, all of the hospital systems, really just a linkage to grow, just the community support. Separately, they will also be providing services for the seniors through the Human Resource Administration, Sarah grant. That's a separate service that just the tenants will have access to, whereas the entire community will have access to the ground and second floor community center. Next slide. I'll pass it over to Magnuson just from a design architecture standpoint and sustainability.
Good morning, council members. Thank you for having us here. My name is Fernando Alvarez. I'm an architect with Magnuson Architecture and Planning. We are the architects, designers, and architects of record for the building. The building, it's a 28-story all-electric building, has been designed to obtain Passive House certification. The mechanical systems are going to be based ground source. All right, so the mechanical systems are based on a geothermal heat source heating. Basically, we're going to go down 600 feet. We're going to extract that energy from the ground, and that's going to feed our cooling and heating systems. It's fully sustainable. The individual apartments will have their own units with their own thermostats, but everything will be centralized as an all-electric building. The building also has a design with a solar canopy and what we call a building photovoltaic integrated in the facade facing south. So it's going to perform with their own energy. This energy will go to the main building's electrical panel and will feed down public spaces. Some of the resiliency measures that we have in this building include a dry-proof cellar. The utility rooms have been designed on the second floor because the building was designed on the 28 floodplain. So in case that there's in the future some the levels of water rise, all the utilities are going to be safe on the second floor and then distribute up and down to the ground floor, of course. Common amenities in the building include alternating lounges facing south, where the older adults and tenants can meet, and also a series of laundry rooms at those levels. In addition to, like Matt said, in the sixth floor setback, there are multiple rooms, recreation rooms. There's an exercise room, library, community room, main laundry room, and also there's a connection with the outdoor landscape for passive recreation for the residents of the building. And that concludes our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I have a few questions. Can you briefly mention the background of this site and explain why the process to acquire and then dispose of this site for development was necessary to facilitate the development?
Yeah, absolutely. So this site was previously city-owned property with several lots that was disposed through a UDAP action in the year 2000 and consolidated into one lot. At the time, the lot was conveyed for a HUD Section 202 project, and the regulatory agreements that were imposed in the deed and the regulatory agreement was mainly for that project and inclusive of that parking lot. And so it didn't allow for the subdivision, the developer, even though it's privately owned, they cannot subdivide without the city's consent. And so the city has to reacquire a portion of it and kind of, engage in a new regulatory agreement that will allow financing, subdivision, and redevelopment of the parking lot. But the parking itself, just for the record, was a zoning requirement and was not a requirement that was baked into the regulatory agreement. So, yeah.
Thank you for that. Do you have a plan to address the public safety concerns through lighting measures, especially on Park Avenue?
Yeah, the building's fully secure. We'll definitely have enhanced lighting. Just having the presence there is going to enhance the streetscape. We will have 24-hour security for the residential entrance on 110th, but and the Salsa Way will also be secure. So definitely, we will take all measures necessary, and any additional feedback is always welcome. But I think we've addressed the security appropriately.
I appreciate that. So I'm going to ask some questions on behalf of Deputy Speaker Ayala. So Deputy Speaker asks, while I appreciate that you have added a few more one-bedrooms to this project, along with many of my colleagues here at the City Council and seniors we represent, have to consistently voice our displeasure with the disproportionate number of studios that are included in these buildings for seniors. Are there any thoughts about changing this SARA term sheet to facilitate more one-bedroom units? And if not, how does HPD justify this unit mix that favors studio units? I think you addressed it in your project, but...
Yeah, I think just to speak from HPD's perspective, we are absolutely listening to this feedback. We've received this feedback both from the community members during our Community Board 11 hearings as well as from the Deputy Speaker. I think we'd like to continue those policy and finance discussions at HPD. I think, every senior project depends on the development team's ability to present the most appropriate unit mix for the project and the community, taking a look at that holistically. I think for this site specifically, it's a very constrained site. It's a parking lot that's less than 10,000 square feet, and in the case here, the idea was to maximize the number of units possible to get seniors housed, and this proposal is at the moment generally in line with some other SARA proposals. From HPD's perspective, there's a lot of seniors on wait lists citywide. Some of those folks are unhoused. Some of those folks are on Section 8 wait lists, or some of them are just in old walk-up apartments with mobility issues, and they need to get into modern and resilient housing. And so, right now the priority is to get those folks into that permanent housing and build as many units as possible. But at the same time, we understand that some of these unit sizes are smaller, and so projects are encouraged to, build that terrace space, build the extra community rooms, try to get the socialized spaces as much as possible. I think by tapping into a community facility like Sage that is already serving seniors in the neighborhood, they're able to provide not only a connection with the seniors in the project, but also at the community at large. And yeah, just one last point. Actually, today I'm attending a presentation about by the Urban Design Forum, which is doing a fellowship on aging in place, and it's actually HPD as the partner in that program, and we're hoping to learn some insights there. They're going to issue a report, and hopefully there can be a continuing conversations on this topic.
Well, it was very exciting, very innovative. I was very impressed. So thank you so much. I just want to recognize some of my colleagues if anyone has any questions for this panel.
Yeah, I actually, I'm familiar with this space as I lived in Schaumburg Plaza on 110th Street and 5th Avenue for my youth, and my mother still lives there. And so it's pretty exciting to see something coming up on the corner of 110th Street and Park Avenue on the east side, right, northeast side. This building is an extension of the building on 111th Street and Park Avenue?
It'll be a standalone building, but it is
Not connected at all.
they will only be connected through the shared Salsa Way entry point on 110. So they will share the courtyard.
Yeah.
I tried to come dressed appropriately today. So, but yeah, no, they will be standalone, separate and operating buildings.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I don't want to take too much time, but I mean, we're excited. The geothermal idea here is that the geothermal will power the new construction building, but we are gonna have some additional capacity, and so we're gonna have a manifold to tie into so that we can, when Casita Park is able to get the funding sources together to do an upgrade rehab, it'd be a phase 2 to make sure that those seniors are also getting, modern and resilient housing.
So that brings me to my next question. Is this, and just for my edification and maybe for the public's as well, is this like a free energy thing in terms of being able to tap into the energy from the earth? Because of course, as you know, as a lot of the buildings in our communities and in our districts are being developed or being retrofitted to become more green, some of those costs are pushed off onto the existing tenants, and many of them, and this is the reason why my question is coming from the space, is because many of them are not really able to work again, and so these are seniors that are really on a fixed income. Everything in New York City is becoming more and more expensive. So I just was really wondering, what are the costs for the tenants, and will there be any savings that they will experience in a green, fully electric building?
So there will be and great question. There's a lot of direct impacts of all of the sustainable features. So the tenants will only be paying for electric bills, and those electric bills they really should not rise. There will not be much escalation because we have a ground source from the water, right? Groundwater source that's going to be 600 to 800 feet below. That's consistent, and so taking that and drawing that and utilizing that and that heat pump system will allow these bills for these tenants to remain essentially static, right? I mean, that is the goal, and potentially even to come down. So most of the solar is more for the owners, the nonprofit MWB and us, to just manage the building cost, right? That's going to be the common areas. So the building integrated photovoltaic, the rooftop solar, most of that is all common areas that the tenants wouldn't pay for. But really the geothermal system, and again, like trying to create these districts, and really that's what we see as part of the future of sustainability. This is not a new system, geothermal. It's actually it's just sort of coming back into play, which is great. And there's the incentives help, right? So we have an award from the New York State Energy Research Development Authority, NYSERDA. We got part of the Building of Excellence program. We also have gotten some Resolution A funds, specifically targeting the sustainability, and also the Inflation Reduction Act, which seems to currently still be intact today, but that actually will help with about 40 to 50% of the actual installation and the equipment we would get back. So it allows us to do these measures, but kind of going off a little bit, I get excited about the project, but just to bring it back to the question, is the direct impact to the tenants is really to have extremely low and stable electric bills for them, and all the expenses and everything. This is a project-based Section 8, so any rental increases to them are picked up by the Section 8 voucher. That's technically how it works.
Gotcha.
Excuse me, I'm going to add on the technical side, I don't know about bills, I hate them, but on the technical side, NYSERDA, and that's my bad, I didn't mention, we got the building is part of a buildings of excellence. By being passive house, what that means, there's an extra insulation in the building, the windows are triple glazed, and the energy, and the way it works is during the winter months, the the windows allow all this natural heat from the sun to come in. So you're not cranking your HVAC systems or your heating. And during the summer, is the opposite. The UV reflects this, and by being insulated, it maintains the temperature. It's not like the old buildings, right? It's 92 degrees outside, it's 192 inside. No, this maintains the temperature by being hyper insulated, and there's constant ventilation too. So the constant ventilation avoids the excessive use of air conditioning. That's part of the science, building science behind that.
Well, this is very exciting. I guess the last point, I don't know if this is necessarily a question, but I know it's come up in my district in particular, District 9, which is literally right across the street, right? A lot of the tenants have raised concerns about some of the equipment that they have has to be on 100% of the time. And I know some of the cost savings have been, the trickle-down effect is, hey, we'll just turn off, your television, unplug your microwave, things like that to keep the cost down. And I'm just wondering, in terms of those considerations, what thoughts are there on that?
The constant current running through
Correct.
all of the outlets and the RFIs.
Because there will be some individuals as they age, we have a very resilient,
Oh, yeah.
senior community that want to be in their homes and, but some of them need that type of service as well in their homes.
So in terms of extra power usage due to medical equipment, I think you're
Yes.
sort of referring to, and we really haven't. So we've done a couple of these types of SARA buildings recently that have been operating for a couple of years, and we have tenants with this equipment. We're not seeing significant surges in their bills. So I think I think there's a perception, and you would think that it would, but I think we're not seeing that in the working buildings now, in some of these senior buildings. So I don't think that this equipment is extracting that much. So and I think there's ways to work with us. We're community developers in the team. I think we work with tenants who there's still hardships, even though they're on Section 8. There's still going to be issues, and that's where the social service comes in, just to make sure with the linkages and any programming. If there were some spike in their bill, we typically will just troubleshoot. It could be a meter, it could be something else. So we haven't found that there's going to be exponential power usage with any ongoing equipment like that.
Gotcha.
I'll add one more thing. The building is under the EGC program, so we have low flow plumbing fixtures and high efficiency lighting. So by having that, it's not like the old times when you got to turn off lights. No, these EGC helps us because their guidelines are very strict.
Including sensors in the common areas and just comprehensive measures to try to save all of that as much as possible.
Well, thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Before we excuse this applicant panel, I'd like to recognize Councilmember Marte has joined us. And it is truly an incredible project. I'd love to chat with you offline. But thank you. This applicant panel is now excused.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, council members, are there any members of the public, council, are there any members of the public who wish to testify on this item?
No, there are not.
Okay. Being no questions, so if there are any remote or public participants who wish to testify that have not already done so, please press the raise hand button now, and if you are here with us in person, please see one of the sergeant-at-arms to fill out a speaker card. With there being no other members of the public who wish to testify regarding LU 313 through LU 316, Carmen Villegas Apartments, this public hearing is now closed. That concludes today's business, and I would like to thank the members of the public, my colleagues, the subcommittee, council, land use staff, and sergeant-at-arms for your participation today. This meeting is hereby adjourned.